Hello everyone, I am Meera K. I secured an All India rank 6 in Civil Service Examination 2020. So today I'll be sharing with you my strategy both for the exam day and how I approach my papers. So if you are ready, come on, let's rewind to exam day. Coming to my paper attempting strategy for mains, one thing I made sure is that I always made it very easy for the examiner. I'll always write in a legible, clean, neat handwriting. Again, this is not very calligraphic or very beautiful handwriting I'm talking about, but readable and legible things. This is something that everyone can do with a bit of practice. So that is one thing. And I'll always make sure that I'll write the first 3 questions and the last 3 questions really well, because the examiner might be correcting from the front or the back, and you have to put an impression on whoever is correcting. I've also heard that that's not how UPSC corrects. Every subject is corrected by subject experts. I'm not sure, but I'm not taking a chance there. So that's one thing I do. Another thing is that I'll divide the whole paper into 2-3 parts. One is questions I already know, which I've already practiced or which I've already studied or something. So that will be done very quickly in the first half an hour or 3/4 of an hour. So that will be like, I'll go in the chronological order itself, but the questions which I know easily, which I can easily write, will be attempted first. Which I don't know anything about, that will be kept for the last. And which I have to use a lot of filler points, some generic points, that will be kept in the middle. And most time will be given for the questions with the filler points, where I have to bring something up and write, so that I can write a good answer there. And for the answers which I don't know anything about, which I'm clueless about, I'll still write a 1 or 1.5 page answer. I clearly remember in 2018 mains in GS3 there was this question on Bose-Einstein statistics and its impact on physics or something. I can't recall the question also. I think physics students might hate me for this, but please forgive me for saying this. So I didn't know what Bose-Einstein statistics was, or I didn't know anything about it. But then I knew who Bose was and who Einstein was. And I knew what Bose-Einstein condensate was, because it was another state of matter and it's something in between matter and energy. So if there is something in between, then that means there is a statistics. So I mixed everything. I put E is equal to mc square into it. I wrote a bit about Bose. I wrote a bit about Einstein. And I filled the page. I would have got like 1 mark or half a mark for it. But then that is something I need. That 1 mark might be what gives you an interview call, or gives you your desired service, or gives you your desired career. So that 1 mark is very important, and try to squeeze out as many marks as you can from each of the question papers. So for all the 20 questions, write it and write it well, and maintain a kind of consistency between the questions. Talking about the interview day, I had reached Delhi some 2-3 days before the interview. I was staying at Kerala House. I chose Kerala House mostly because I would get my Kerala meals there, and it's kind of a home ambience there. So it's like giving interview from your home. So if there is a place where you can get your comfort food and where you can be yourself and you feel very much at home with, that is the best place to stay when you're in Delhi when you go for the interview. For some people it might be your coaching institute or nearby that, or it might be the houses of your state. Every state has a house in Delhi. So if you can get that, you'll get your comfort foods and everything there. So I would highly recommend that. And on the day of the interview, again, my mother was there, my sister was there, they were accompanying me. So it was kind of a trip for us. We were roaming around, we were seeing places in Delhi. And I was not I was not studying too much just before the interview. On the morning, I woke up early, I had a morning session. So I woke up at 6 to read the day's newspaper. So there was some new policy, the national monetization scheme was being implemented, or some news was there about it. So I just went and looked what it is about, and I made a small opinion of myself on it, that I can, if at all it comes in the interview, and it came in the interview. And I also went through the Delhi local news and everything, and I also searched my Kerala Daily newspaper, which I had an online subscription, to see if something happened in Kerala that day, so that if they ask me, I can tell them. So this was the only thing I did in the morning. I had a good breakfast and I dressed up really well. I had kept everything in place the night before itself, so that in the morning there was no hassle. I got up ready and I was staying some 10 minutes away from UPSC. So I reached UPSC half an hour before the gate opening time. And once I reached there were a lot of people coming for the interview. So I interacted with them. And it's not like the prelims or the mains for the interview. It's a bit more chilled out atmosphere. So again, I also had a forest interview coming up. So I was seeing which trees were there in UPSC, that area, etc. And I was bit more calm and composed during the interview day. And I think that helped me a lot during the interview, because during the corona, again, during the pandemic, you're in a very uncharted territory in UPSC. That's like, this interview like this has not happened before. You don't know which board you're going to get until you reach there. So if you're already tensed or nervous, once you get inside, you'll be more nervous. This shouldn't happen. So I was trying to take my mind off things by talking to people and looking at the scenery, etc. And Delhi was a good experience for me. It was something new. So I was just enjoying the thing, and then getting inside the UPSC building was again a dream come true. It's something that I got in 2018 and I frivolously wasted it, so I didn't want to do that this time. So I was very humble about it, and I just wanted to go there and give my best shot. Coming to the gap between the exams, there is a gap between the prelims GS paper and the CSAT paper. One thing I absolutely made sure was that I don't search anything on Google. I left my phone home. I didn't take it at all to the venue, so that I don't get disheartened seeing some wrong answers, and my CSAT will also go then. So I made sure that it doesn't happen. Last time again in 2019, I had made the mistake of Googling answers and realizing I had done a lot of silly mistakes, and I didn't want to repeat it again. So I kept the phone home. I deliberately didn't talk to anybody about the paper or the exam. I was simply having my lunch, and then I took a short nap, like 10-minute nap, and then I started practicing a bit of maths because I had lost touch with CSAT. So I had a book in hand. I was scribbling on a piece of paper. I was trying to solve it, so that maths is something I enjoy doing also. So I was scribbling, and that was it. I didn't focus a lot on the GS paper. So this was one thing I did between the gap between the exams and prelims. For the mains, especially after GS4, there is a 5-day gap between the socio paper and the regional language papers and the exam. That is a long gap. So this 5 days I had planned beforehand which all topics will be covered in which day, especially for the optional, and I had covered it as such. I had the materials to cover it. It was all kept in 5 different folders, so that every day I had to cover this much. So that was done during the 5 days gap between the GS4 and regional paper. And in between GS1 and GS2 and GS3 and GS4, again, you don't get a lot of time. You just have enough time to have your lunch and then come back and do a quick revision. There are certain things you have left unfinished, so I just went through it. And then again, I made sure that I'm not talking to a lot of people. I just talked to my friends there. There were a few people I'm close to. I just talked to them, but I didn't talk to a lot of people in general, so that I might realize I've written something very wrong, and that'll again be an issue in my other paper. So I made sure that doesn't happen in between the 2 papers. Getting out of the exam hall after the prelims, I was very upset because it's a very silly thing I did. I thought that I'm going to fail CSAT because how much ever I counted, I was not getting the required marks. But then it dawned on me that CSAT has 2.5 marks for every question and it's not 2 marks. So then I was relaxed. I went home, and then I didn't immediately check the key. I went out with my friends. We had pizza and we enjoyed for a bit, and at night I came back, and then by then some institute keys had come. So I just checked one key and I was getting an okay mark in that. I was a bit relaxed. Then next day I didn't do any other key. I was waiting for the reliable keys to come, because all the keys, initial keys, they'll have a lot of mistakes in it. So after 2-3 days, the more reliable keys will come with a lot of discussions and explanations. So I was waiting for that. And after 2-3 days, I again went and checked 2-3 keys, and I was getting a good mark in prelims. So I didn't bother a lot about it. talking about the result day, again, it was a very surreal experience. So the result came around 6 o'clock. I had a class planned at 6 o'clock. So all the morning I was scrolling through my Telegram group where they have this insider info coming about result is about to come and all these things. It's very fun group. So they'll be talking about they're cleaning the notice board and they're putting lights on it so that the result might come now. So I was getting an indication that it's about to come. But then I didn't know when it will come. So by 6 o'clock, I thought that before my class starts, I'll just go through it and I'll see if the result has come. If not, I'll check it after 9 o'clock. And I just opened the group and I saw the PDF. So first thing I made sure was that it was not a fake PDF because there are a lot of fake PDFs these days. I went to the UPSC site. I got the original PDF from there. I opened it and my initial thought was that I'll do a Control F. But then I decided against it because what if the name is not found comes and then it will be like all my hopes will be dashed in a single stroke. So I thought I'll scroll. So initially some people whose roll numbers are pending or some issues are there, it will be there. And in the second page, I just immediately saw my name because it was the shortest name in that whole list. And then I checked my roll number. I again took my hall ticket to see if this is actually my roll number. And then for a minute, I was like, okay, finally this is over. I don't have to write the next prelims again. That was the first thought that came into my head. And then I rushed downstairs and my parents and a few relatives were at home because a ceremony was happening. So everyone came forward and then from there it was all, surreal. A lot of people calling you, wishing you. It's surreal at the same time, it's very humbling also. Because you realize that all this love that you're getting, all the wishes that you're getting, it's not for the person Meera, it's for the tag that you're going to get. And that is a huge responsibility and it's a daunting task, the kind of responsibility that is being handed over to you. So I was very humbled by it. Again, parents, they were very happy, my sister was very happy, and it was a very memorable day for everyone at home. And how I feel, again, as I said, I feel very happy, I feel relieved that I don't have to write this exam again and that I can finally do something, start doing something that I really want to do. Again, it's a bit of challenge also that you have proved yourself in an exam, but then the real test is out there that you have to go and prove yourself in the field. So that is there, so I'm waiting for that. So what I would like to tell you all is that just remember this one thing on your exam day. If you who has prepared for the last 1 or 2 years don't know an answer, there is a high probability that most of the people out there don't know the answer. And the thing about this exam is, any competitive exam is that it's not about knowing a lot of things. It's about knowing what everyone knows and then knowing a bit more. I've already said this before also. So just keep this in mind. Don't worry if you feel the exam is tough. It's going to be tough for everyone. The cutoff is going to go down. Give your best and don't come out of the exam hall those 2 hours or 3 hours without giving your best. That is the only thought that you should have in your head. And then, as I said, try to control your external environment. The things that you have to take, the transport, the food that you have, the sleep that you're going to get. Try to make all this perfect so that you can have a very good exam experience. If you have any other questions or doubts regarding the examination, the exam day or the strategy that you have to follow, you can always put in a comment down this video and we'll try to reach out to you. So I wish all of you all the best for your upcoming examinations. I hope that the points I've shared has been useful to all of you, but do take it with a pinch of salt and customize it according to your needs. Stay confident and stay calm. I hope all of you clear it this time. I wish you all the best. Let's crack it.